Gen Z versus Gen X and boomers. Let's talk about it. So I was listening to YouTube, I was getting into that rabbit hole yesterday, and I came across a Gen Zer who was talking about
Generation Z. Here's your ball back.
his life now and how he's an incel. If you don't know what that is, it's a man who's involuntarily celibate, I believe. So he's not having sex with anybody. I don't think they masturbate. I'm not sure what the whole deal is. They're like protesting women and sex, and he was talking about how he has no social life, and from when he was like 16 to 27 he had a close core of friends, but now he feels like he's alone out there. I guess he's around 28 or 29 now, not much older than that, and he blames the generations before him, me, a Gen Xer, and even boomers. And I see that a lot. Us Gen Xers blame the boomers, and it seems to be, the thing to do is to blame the previous generation on your current situation.
It's your fault.
I understand that girls today, especially in his age range, they're very demanding and particular. They have good careers. More women go to college than men. Women want to level up when they date. They want to date somebody who makes more than them, but not only makes more money than them, but has a more prestigious position than them. So if a guy is a plumber and he's making $150,000 a year and she's a lawyer making $80,000 a year, she won't date him because his job's not prestigious enough for her. And I think this is definitely an issue. I don't think it's, as new an issue as people make it out to be. It's been around for a while. It's just that more women now have better positions in society.
It's equal.
A lot more girls go to college than boys. Boys tend to go into trades more. They become policemen, firemen, jobs like that, construction workers, heavy equipment operators, maybe a ranger like me. So, I was thinking about it. At first, I got a little, angry, like, why is he blaming us Gen Xers? I, was in kind of the same situation when I was his age. I had the same issues. One thing that did save me was being a whitewater raft guide back then, which was...
Well, I went whitewater rafting.
Very low on the totem pole as far as professional jobs go. But because of the position I was in, and I always used to say back then, when you're a raft guide, you're in the back of the raft, you have a boatload of men, women, lots of single girls, and you're yelling commands at them all day. Forward right, forward left, high side. This, a lot of times, if you're, guiding in class 5, like I was a lot, hard of whitewater, you're in these dire situations sometimes. It always seems like everything's, on the edge of falling apart, and women are attracted to that. You're in charge, you're in the rafts, you're maybe the TL, giving the safety talk in the morning, public speaking, even though you're making $50 a day and $20,000 a year, nothing basically, you still end up attracting a lot of women because you're, in this power position. And that's what women, naturally, it's instinctive for them to gravitate towards men in this power position. And this guy, I'm sure, he's probably, like a lot of Gen Zers, a computer programmer or software engineer or maybe a video editor, something like that. And, he probably makes good money, but he's not making the kind of money that attracts, these modern women who are like the whole 666 mentality. You got to make 6 figures, be taller than 6 feet, and have a 6-pack.
Of these things here, 6 foot, 6 figures, 6-pack, 6 inches.
Eggplant. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which is just unrealistic. And I get into the YouTube algorithm or nightmare or whatever, especially with shorts now. It's more like Instagram. You start looking through there, and there's all these guys in there, especially younger guys, and they're stacked with muscles and they're ripped. And I even saw a guy yesterday. I could tell that he had, put makeup on his stomach to enhance his six pack. The guy was very fit, but he also added makeup to enhance his six pack. And a lot of guys, I could see, if you're insecure and a younger guy, even me, I look at those guys sometimes. I'm like, man, that's the body I wish I had, or I would love to have a body like that. I just, I don't have the natural makeup for that. I have, natural issues with my body that I could never be like that. You could, if you have a 4-pack, you have a 4-pack. You're never going to have a 6 or an 8-pack. And I think these Gen Z guys need to realize this more, that they're more than ever now living in a fantasy land online where you can never live up, to these fitness influencers.
Great workout, Sarge.
I'm not saying you shouldn't go to the gym. I go to the gym 3 days a week. I just started this year working out again, lifting heavy weights. And I admit I do it to look good. I like to go to the beach and not look like a, fat old slob. Also, I do it because I noticed the last few years that, my back hurts more, this, that, my body's breaking down. I'm getting older. And I've been doing some research, and you need to keep your muscular skeleton, in other words, the muscles in your body need to be strong to keep your skeleton upright. And I want to be going well into my 80s, 90s, hopefully, still traveling, doing what I do. Sorry, the chickens are particularly loud this morning out the backyard behind my office. Actually, that's the goat that's particularly loud. Part of the things you have to put up with in the Philippines is lots of noise, especially a lot of noise from animals. Goats aren't that bad. The ones that annoy me the most, though, are probably the pigs. Both neighbors on both sides of me have pigs. They're really loud sometimes. It's really annoying. I'll never have pigs. I already told my girlfriend that. She wants to buy some land and have kind of like a farm. I was like, fine, we'll have a farm, but no pigs. I'm not listening to those pigs all the time. It's not that important to me to have pork. We could just buy pork at the market if we want it. Anyway, that's a tangent. So yeah, this Gen Z guy, he's, blaming it on the Xers and the boomers. And I've blamed things on the boomers before, like my financial situation, what happened to the housing market in the US, like the boomers own all the good real estate. And, there's a lot of things boomers did who are basically the whole Congress now is boomers. Xers are starting to move in there, but, see the president, both guys running for president are both ancient boomers, right? Nobody wants that. People want younger people in. And these boomers have this certain post-World War II mentality.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I don't agree with, and a lot of other people don't agree with. So my message to these guys, these Gen Z guys, is first of all, you need to get out of your house, get offline, and start experiencing life. I was fortunate enough when I was your age, 27, we didn't have, you couldn't just go.
That's impossible.
What's impossible?
Work online at home. I probably would have, I was an introvert. I probably would have worked at home online if I could have, and not had to deal with people all the time. Fortunate enough to stumble my way into raft guiding and ski patrolling, and you can watch my How I Got There series. I'll post that up here at the end of the video. The whole playlist of how I got there. I just cut number 5, and that'll be out in a week or 2.
Cricket, stay on topic here, man.
Like I was saying, I didn't have the opportunity to work at home on a computer. I had to get out there. I was forced to go out and see people. In my job as a raft guide, I was lucky. I got to meet a lot of girls. I dated a lot of women. I'm not bragging. I mean, I'm not much to look at, but
I'm ugly.
Like I said, if you're in that situation where you're in charge, girls are really attracted to that. And, it worked out well for me. But my advice to these Gen Z guys who are, incels and feeling like they can't get any women and, they're financially hurting. And I think part of the financial thing is they see these guys online. Like I made a video about this before, all they talk about is getting your bag, becoming a millionaire before, you start getting in a serious relationship. If you do that, if you wait till you make $1 million before you get in a serious relationship, you're probably never going to get in a serious relationship because most of you are not going to be millionaires. That's what I mean. I know there's more millionaires now than ever, but there's also more really poor people than ever. Inequality has grown to a maximum, I think, in the US where it's going to burst in the world. But in the US, it's gotten particularly bad for the US. The amount of resources and money we have this, more billionaires and millionaires than ever, and 20 men own more wealth than the rest of the world combined. And then you have the other side of the spectrum where you have people that could barely get by. And also, I have another thing to say about that is our consumerism is out of control. You don't need a 50-inch screen TV. You don't need a $70,000 Ford truck.
I get to buy stuff.
I drive a 2009 hybrid car because I don't like paying tons for gas. I'm an environmentalist somewhat. I think we should, save the environment, but I also think, people are going to grow and there's going to be more people on the planet than ever. So we need to find a way to, and I do believe technology will save the environment. So for those Gen Zers, take it from me, a Gen Xer who was in your situation, believe me, you're not alone. I also had a hard time getting women in my late teens and early 20s. It's just an awkward time, but you need to get out, stop buying stuff you don't need. When I'm in the US, I shop for clothes at thrift stores. This shirt right here, I got it at a thrift store in Colorado. I don't buy $100 shirts. I buy $10 shirts at the thrift store, and then I can afford to travel. That's what you want to spend your excess cash on, is experiences. Travel around the world. Come to the Philippines. Go to South America. Trust me, you'll meet women that like you and are into you. Also, stop consuming everything around you. You don't need the latest tech gadget. You don't need an iPhone 14 for $1,500. I have an S10 that I bought this year on eBay for $200, and I shoot a bunch of my videos. It does almost everything an iPhone does. Maybe you can't play, the latest video games on it, but I would argue that if you're playing video games on your phone all the time, that's part of the reason you're an incel. You're wasting your time. I mean, video games are fun. Believe me, I went through my Madden phase and everything, but I just don't spend my life playing video games. My basic ideas, my thesis of this video is that you need to get out and travel, buy experiences. If you can't afford to come out of the country now, I know it's expensive. There's ways you can afford it. You could get on my Buy Me a Coffee membership for $10 a month if you want to talk to me in person on WhatsApp or something, and I will teach you how to afford cheap travel. You don't have to travel to the nicest resorts. If you get out there and travel, you are going to meet great people and you're going to make a lot of connections with women. So that's my message for you guys, you younger guys, you Gen Zers, incels. Get off the internet. Stop listening to lunatics like Steve Bannon and people like that who want you to rebel against the United States. That's not the answer. We need to fix it from within. There's not going to be a civil war in the US. So get off the internet, save your money, travel now, travel for the weekend, go out west, go to Colorado, go to Utah, spend the day outdoors, go mountain biking, go hiking, get away from your screens for a while. It'll do a lot of good, trust me. Okay, that's my message. I know it's a bit of a rant. I saw that video yesterday and I thought I had to say something. Younger guys, I know you need help out there. If you need help traveling, like I said, get in touch with me. Get on my Buy Me a Coffee, get a membership. It's super cheap, $10. Spend your money on that. I'm not saying you should spend your money on me, but if you want to talk to me personally, I'd be happy to talk to you. I have work and stuff to do too. So, it's a lot easier for me to talk to you if you have a membership. All right, guys, peace.